Okay, good.
All right. Introduction,
Yeah.
boys.
Okay.
He better have some real sense, because I'm too tired to deal with this level of retardation. I haven't watched the video yet, so this is all brand new to me.
I mean, they have D&D every week, but
Oh boy, I can't.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Not mentally prepared for this.
I'm mentally prepared for dissecting this level of trash.
Breathe in and out.
Okay.
Breathe in and out. Alright, we're ready to go.
Okay, we're okay.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I think we
Hello,
can all
everybody, and
agree
welcome
the
back to
rise
another
of
script video. Today
Skywalker.
we're looking at MatPat. He is.
Open your
I
live
used to
chat.
watch.
Open the live feed to see the chat.
I used to watch him in my early days, back when I was a gullible twad. But now that I look back upon him, I realize most of the stuff he says is
Complete garbage.
I mean, like I think he's a nice guy, but he's just.
Garbage.
Yeah. He's
I was a gullible twad, but now that I look back upon him.
oh geez, your mic quality just went down by like 1,000.
Oh, well, oh no.
Alright, now it's better. So you ready to get into this?
I know why. It's because that was my phone. My actual mic.
I see. Alright, let's get into this.
So I think we can all agree the rise of Skywalker was a perfect movie.
He's gotta be kidding. He's joking. I can't tell.
Well, almost perfect. There was
What did he say?
No, not almost perfect. No.
Wait, let me just get on the watch together.
You're not even on the watch together.
No, it's just that I was on this.
Okay. Alright, well, let's start from the beginning.
So
No, watch
I
together.
think we can all agree the rise of Skywalker was a perfect movie.
No,
Who agrees with that statement, honestly?
no one does.
I think the most praise I've heard about Rise of Skywalker was, it was pretty good.
I think he's being facetious right over there.
I really hope he is, because this movie was the worst Star Wars movie ever made.
It's the worst Star Wars movie ever made.
It's the worst movie in the Star Wars saga. It's not the worst Star Wars movie. We all know what that one is.
Well, almost perfect. There was one teeny tiny little detail that prevented it from being the masterpiece we all expected.
Ray who? Ray Skywalker.
No. What else would her last name be? Organa? Because she trained under Leia and had a special connection with her? Pfft, come on! The obvious answer is naming herself after the grumpy green milk guy who ignored her for like a week and then disappeared.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, let's agree with him on that.
Good God. Oh my God, that's the knife. I hate the knife so much.
What's the problem there? A dagger pointing to a very specific piece of wreckage just floating there on a turbulent ocean planet? It's almost like you don't understand how space erosion works. Need a bit of a bigger brain there, friend. Okay, yeah, maybe the Renlo kiss was a bit of a mistake. They probably should have kissed a little bit longer. No, the only moment marring what was otherwise a master stroke of filmmaking was this.
Tell if he's like, oh yeah, these are problems, but they don't really matter because the movie was good. Or if he's just bullshitting us and he thinks the movie is awful like the rest of us.
He's being facetious, I can tell.
Okay.
I can tell that. Oh,
Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Is that Luke Skywalker? Where was he in the last couple movies?
no, more importantly, where was he in The Last Jedi?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that's one. That is the
I like to point out that they're using Yoda's theme for Luke Skywalker. Man, just really milking that cash cow.
Not milking it anymore. They're not milking it anymore. They already killed it, and now they're just like they're now taking the bone marrow out of there.
There's still milk inside the udders. It's just a dead cow.
They're taking the bone marrow out of the cow now.
one. Oh, I can't even keep up the facade. That is the one and only thing that this movie did wrong. Force ghosts are suddenly too powerful, and if they're able to live.
Jedi, I think that's where the problem started. You can't really blame Rise of Skywalker for continuing that pattern. Now that it's possible, they should be able to do all kinds of crazy shit. Why not just fight the fucking First Order? You can't die, but you can interact with the world around you. Although I suppose that's the point of this video, to prove how...
Right?
how it all makes sense.
I guess.
Lift
But
ships and catch lightsabers, then why don't they do anything else in these movies? Why aren't they the ones fighting Clone Emperor Skin Suit over on planet Exima? It's a problem that CinemaSins calls out.
But I better see an army of Jedi ghosts coming to fight the Emperor after this.
It's a problem that How It Should Have Ended calls out.
You can use the Force and hold the lightsaber after you're dead?
Yes?
Heck, it's what they list as the way it should have ended.
Look what I can do.
Now, I don't know why.
CinemaSins, they have done an episode with CinemaSins before.
Oh, great. Well, they're both right. The Force ghosts that are still, Force ghosts could absolutely interact with the physical world and weren't. Fuck the Clone Wars, am I right? They're not just manifestations of their consciousness. They're just blue people.
Why everyone was.
Can't wait for that Avatar crossover.
Oh my god. And also the show, which is completely unrelated, like for the first time a couple days ago.
Oh, James is here. Hello, James.
Who's here? Oh.
James.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going.
True fans have known that Force ghosts can do anything. Just play Lego Star Wars, scrubs. But all joking aside, the first indication that we get in the series that Force ghosts can actually interact with the physical world is in the original trilogy. In Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan shows up as a Force ghost right after Yoda's death. And while he's fumbling his way through retconning the series,
Why didn't you tell me?
What I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Obi-Wan brushes some vines out of his way, making physical contact with the world around him.
I'm pretty sure that's just supposed to give the illusion that he's actually there.
Production mistake? Or critical lore detail?
Well, I'm pretty sure once it's a production mistake, I'm pretty sure it's just that, basically, he's trying to give, the illusion that he's real.
But we don't know that from the film.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the problem, proof by example. Obi-Wan didn't go to face Darth Vader, even though he could have, apparently. And so we can't really know if he did. I think it makes sense that ghosts just don't fall through the earth. But the idea that the idea that they can interact to the extent that they do in the sequel trilogy is quite the leap in logic.
I think we really is, and I think we all know what I'm gonna pretend that it is. Anyway, leave it to Darth Pat over here to be the best Star Wars apologist of all time, because for all of the complaints leveled against
there it is. Unbridled rage.
What?
Hey, right, you see it? He brought up a bunch of videos that complained about Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Bridled rage.
A lot of people have watched that video.
this new movie, and I do think there are a lot of valid complaints to be made at the expense of Rise of Skywalker.
Because it's a fucking terrible movie. I like it more than The Last Jedi, but you don't get credit for being better than The Last Jedi. That should be expected of you. That's the default. It's not even better than The Last Jedi in the objective sense. In terms of its plot, I mean, it's better in every other aspect. But, like, I don't care.
I don't believe that the Force Ghost one is valid. You have to dig deep, real deep. But there does seem to be a reason that Force Ghosts are unable to help in these sorts of situations. So, just like Rey, it's...
Because the sequel trilogy invented new plot holes.
Sequel trilogy. See,
I mean, there's the theory that since Octo is incredibly strong with the Force, and since Dagobah is incredibly strong in the Force, and those are the only times we see the Force Ghosts quote unquote interact with things, that means that those are the only places that they can actually touch things. But what about Exegol? You know, the Sith fucking planet.
well,
I'm sure there's enough Force energy that they can interact there. If you accept the theory that since Octo and Dagobah are strong with the Force, so they can interact with things there, you have to accept they could have gone to Exegol and just didn't.
the Exegol is literally dead planet.
But Palpatine and his entire Sith army is there.
But they are not in the Force.
No, they're not. But there's clearly a lot to do with the Force there.
You're just wrong because you didn't buy the extended books.
It's time for me to bring balance to the Force. She did it by, killing all the evil guys, leaving herself as the only good Force user, aka balanced?
Perfect.
That is how it works. As a Skywalker got it right. That's how balancing the Force works. You kill all of the bad things.
We balanced, as all things should be.
Me, on the other hand, I'm gonna do it by, trying to invalidate one very small nitpick in a sea of criticism using evidence that I'm...
Small nitpick.
Small nitpick.
No,
that
this
ruins.
breaks the universe.
It is involved in the film for only a little while, so I guess it's
Oh, but
technically
the
a small.
problem is it creates so many problems with the older films and this film.
Yes, but it technically speaking.
It is a
it's small.
nitpick for sure, but it's one that has incredibly dramatic implications for the Star Wars universe. So at that point, why even call it a nitpick?
Because it's small.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm sure wasn't really intended by anyone working on these movies. Take it away, Sheev!
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hello, Internet! Well,
That's not...
I mean, he's not referring to the light side.
film theory, where today... we did it! We got ourselves a Star Wars theory right! Kind of. Rey is a Palpatine, just like I kinda predicted. Sure, it required the series to bend over backwards and practically retcon itself into oblivion, but you know what? I'll take a point in the win column any day. I mean, we are talking about the creative team that thought it would be a good idea to have Palpatine's "I am still alive" announcement happen in Fortnite, so, what do you expect at this point?
It was. I don't think it was the creative team of Rise of Skywalker. It was obviously the marketing team behind Lucasfilm and Disney, right?
Right.
It was actually the people behind Rise of Skywalker who said Fortnite's where we put it. And then yeah, they all deserve to be executed by firing squad, but if not, then whatever.
Fun fact, that brilliant marketing decision now opens the door for Star Wars and Marvel to crossover, since Thanos and the crew also spent some time Infinity Stone hunting in Fortnite, so connected universe confirmed. But seriously, why was
that would be garbage.
everyone so surprised about that reveal?
Wait, no. Is the Fortnite shit even canon?
No, it is canon. It is canon. Don't you remember?
Holy shit.
No.
You've gotta be kidding me.
No.
Okay, who disconnected? That person disconnected.
I'm still here.
No!
At the top of Rise of Skywalker. As long as you ignore the entirety of Last Jedi, play Fortnite with the boys, and read the canon book series associated with the new film trilogy, Palpatine's return made perfect sense.
Bro. Bro moment.
Oh, he's just like playing how retarded Palpatine's neck is. It just kind of makes
Need to be revealed in Fortnite.
I remember one time I was debating with this person. I was in a kept.
Clearly, I'm
Sorry, every single stop. Every single time that they like I brought up something in the Last Jedi that made no sense, they'd be like, "But in this book, something happened." I was like, "No, that's not how. You can't do that." And like, why not? It's canon. I'm like, because movies don't stand on their because movies should stand on their own. And they're like, "Oh, but like, but they do exist." And I'm like, I get. It's the same with this like film theory bullshit. It's like I get that it may exist somewhere, but it doesn't excuse the garbage in the film. Film on its own is still poorly written. Like I'm not trying to make the point that doesn't make sense. I'm just saying that this is in the film, and in the film doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter how much extended canon bullshit you give me. It was in the film, it didn't make sense. It was in the trilogy, it didn't make sense. It was in the Star Wars mainline saga, it didn't make sense. Only when you reach to the extended material does it make sense. I'm sorry, you no longer have a coherent universe.
Fortnite is a part of the movie trilogy.
If you have to write a fucking novel or put a marketing campaign in a video game for 9-year-olds, then your movies are garbage.
Amen.
I think whether you liked it or not, we can all agree that Rise of Skywalker was filled with a lot of strange storytelling decisions. A lot of them. And as
garbage storytelling decisions. Don't try to sugarcoat it, MatPat.
Tries to sugarcoat the garbage of the FNAF universe. What did you expect?
That's fair.
You may or may not know, theory crafting is at its best when you can try to fill in the logical holes left behind by sloppy storytelling or inconsistent world building.
That's not how theories work. Theories work by taking...
You're supposed to like find new shit to explain, not explain the poorly explained old shit.
I mean that, but like theories... You're not supposed to, you know, like that. You're not supposed to fill in gaps. You're supposed to, you're
supposed to prove why they aren't gaps. Using theories.
At this point, the Star Wars universe is holier than Swiss cheese. But today, I wanted to focus on one specific issue: Force ghosts and how OP they are.
Yeah, he might have stolen it from Mauler, but I'm not sure.
Or at least how OP they seem. Like, at this point in the franchise, we've seen him catch lightsabers, cast lightning, give free therapy sessions, smack people with ghost canes, and lift...
Thor I am.
Spaceships out from underwater. They appear on the planets where they die. They appear on the planets where they don't die. They sometimes don't even appear and just act as voices. I mean, they can really do it all. Obi-Wan wasn't joking when he said,
"If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Literally, they are just as, if not more powerful than the actual living Force users walking around the universe.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think a lot
that's
of people I think a lot of people are using Obi-Wan's line to justify what Yoda did in Last Jedi and what Luke did in Rise of Skywalker. But I think being able to give wisdom, to impart years of wisdom to the future generations for all time is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, that definitely.
And
deserves
being immortal by itself is already pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there are stories in certain universes where that's one of the worst things. That's one of the things you should avoid at all costs. But in the Star Wars universe, where you don't have to
Well, Obi-Wan didn't exactly want to die, because obviously being able to interact with the physical world and do real shit, that's way better than oh yeah, I can live forever, but I can't do anything. But you're still incredibly powerful when you're an immortal Force ghost with infinite knowledge.
So, if so concerned about the rise of the dark side or the return of the evil emperor or whatever, then why would you ever send someone living to do the job when you can just send Ghost Dad over there? Well, I believe that there's a very real in-universe explanation, and no, it doesn't have to do with the living force and the cosmic force and the dead Jedi not wanting to or not being able to interfere with those in the living world. We'll talk about all that stuff briefly, but that all feels like a cop-out, and honestly, I think that there's a bigger, more obvious, and more...
At least he admits that.
It might be a cop out, but what you're trying to suggest is going to be.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see.
Practical reason for this. One that doesn't require extensive knowledge of the Legends universe or the animated spin-offs to comprehend.
Mind blown.
The Legends universe doesn't matter anymore because they wiped the fuck out.
I mean,
And besides, the animated spin-off, as you call it, basically disproves any evidence for these new Force ghosts.
That's why he's not going to use it.
Yeah, in season 6, the penultimate episode of season 6, the wills tell Yoda, listen up, bitch. You're gonna be able to manifest your consciousness after death. Don't say listen up or bitch, but they do tell him that next part. And manifesting your consciousness doesn't sound like being able to summon lightning from the sky.
That does. I'm able to manifest my consciousness on people I disagree with.
And that is our theory for today. The first thing I needed to do was to look into the history of Force ghosts in Star Wars. While there have been a fair share of non-canonical Force ghosts in the Legends or video game universes, the core canon movies make the claim that Qui-Gon Jinn invented the technique after his death, or at least he was the first to discover it in his own time.
An old friend has learned the path to immortality.
In reality, we learn in the Clone Wars that Qui-Gon started learning this technique through the teachings of Force priestesses, only to get
Force shamans.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, he actually does bring it up. It's basically this proves everything he said wrong. Let's see here.
Called away to help trade negotiations happening over Naboo, aka the start of the Phantom Menace, and that his training is cut short, since by the end of that mission, he dies at the hands of Darth Maul. As a result, he never truly completed his training while alive, which is why his body doesn't disappear at the point of his death. Notice how they burn Qui-Gon's body in Phantom Menace, whereas Obi-Wan and Yoda just kind of peace out when they die.
Show yourself, can you?
I cannot. My training
Is Tekka part of the living force?
Tekka?
That's because he just disappeared when he got
Maybe Kylo's lightsaber was so powerful that his entire body got incinerated. And then of course that's why Finn gets stabbed through the back but doesn't die. Or not stabbed, but sliced, but still. Yeah.
Geez.
Man. Oh, one of these days we have to talk about the difference between Kylo's lightsaber in The Force Awakens and Kylo's lightsaber in The Last Jedi. It's honestly kind of hilarious.
So throughout the rest of Star Wars media, Qui-Gon is only able to appear as a Force ghost in places that are nexuses of the Force, super strong epicenters of Force energy. So that's the long answer for why Qui-Gon never appears as a Force ghost anywhere else in the series. Short answer is that Liam Neeson was probably just too expensive for the cameo. After Qui-Gon's discovery of the technique, most powerful...
I mean, he cameoed in the Clone Wars series.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson voiced, this Qui-Gon.
Light side Force users try to learn it themselves. Yoda
told I was to learn from you. That showed me you could. How to manifest my life after death.
You come to us with only good intention and light in your heart.
Okay, yeah.
I do, yes.
Notice how he says after death, as in dying, as in you can't come back and still interact with shit.
The blessing I give and the training will begin.
Who then passes it on to Obi-Wan.
In your solitude on Tatooine, training I have for you.
Obi-Wan then spent years studying the technique in isolation on the deserts of Tatooine. Anakin Skywalker, meanwhile, just kinda does a last-minute deathbed conversion and gets to be a ghost too. Must have made
I mean, no,
yeah, that was kind of silly.
Obi-Wan and Yoda feel...
Legends, it was revealed.
I don't know how he...
In Legends, it was revealed that Obi-Wan actually helped him get to the...
did this Legends book come out before the prequels?
Oh. I don't know exactly, but I did hear that in Legends.
I guess it sort of checks out. That's more of a fault of the prequels than it is of the originals. If it's never really explained that well.
I mean, the prequels tried to explain the flaw in the originals the best they could, you know, like...
It wasn't really a flaw, though. Because at the time, we had no idea how the Force Ghost really worked.
Yes,
so we didn't know that they needed training.
Yes,
the prequels actually create the... Look, you could assume that they're just not as powerful, because, you know, they're all dead.
Oh,
so
the Force God has.
So only powerful Jedi could use...
But weren't there any more powerful Jedi?
What do you mean? I'm saying that I'm saying that like Yoda and Obi-Wan were the most powerful.
Yeah, I guess you could.
And that's mostly true. You got the prequels. Man, I got fireworks going on.
It's because Anakin's the chosen one.
Yeah, but we didn't know that at the time of the originals either.
Real stupid.
But I mean, like it's explained in the prequels. She is the chosen one.
Yeah, but not in the originals. Only in the prequels.
But in that, if you're saying that it's in, I mean, I could argue with you.
Oh,
more.
So you're saying that he's the Force Ghost because he's the chosen one. That fixes the question raised by the original trilogy.
By the prequel trilogy.
Possibly. I think it makes sense why Luke would learn how to become a Force Ghost before he becomes a depressed old man, because obviously he wouldn't want to, because he came to this island to die.
Why would he want to become a Force Ghost if he came to the island to die?
No, I'm saying that he learned sometime beforehand.
He's like, I want to die now.
Yeah, that's kind of an inconvenience that he learned how to become a Force Ghost.
If that was a major plot point in the sequel trilogy, I would want to die on an island alone as well.
You're the best, James. Don't change.
Last Jedi not only gains Force Ghost abilities, but also...
Look at that terrible wig.
Okay, well, let me just...
Looks like garbage.
Really is trash, and just...
Yeah.
So the hairstyle of a 70s rock band. Of course, you have Force Ghost Tupac, and finally Leia, who becomes the final Force Ghost of the series until the inevitable next one. At this point, the Force Ghost plane is far from the special technique that only the highest level of Jedi accomplish. It's now just kind of like
I do remember.
Yeah, why
remember
does
why he said
Leia
too
know?
powerful.
Why does Leia know how to Force Ghost?
Because because Luke taught her.
Why? She's not powerful or anything. Oh well, I guess she is because she beats Luke in a lightsaber fight.
Okay. So there's that inconvenience.
How the fucking dare they make Leia beat Luke in a lightsaber fight? What the
Feminism.
hell? What the? I mean, I get Luke's probably a good teacher, or was. But at that time he wasn't planning on igniting his lightsaber over Leia in her sleep. But what the actual hell? Luke should outclass her by a mile. Oh, whatever.
For cameos
as
past
far
and
as I know,
present. But with so many Force ghosts floating around, why aren't they actually doing anything? Official explanations have been vague about this. The best we have is from the book From a Certain Point of View, where we hear what it's like to actually be a Force ghost from Qui-Gon Jinn's perspective. Basically, the person's consciousness passes from the living Force over into the cosmic Force, where they suddenly transcend all time and space. They are eternal, and in order to manifest back as a ghost in the physical realm, they have to choose to, for lack of a better term, reassemble themselves in a specific time and location. The process is described to be kind of painful, and that's all we get. There's been speculation.
So yeah, I mean it's a pretty good explanation, A lot of energy for them to even appear as real people, so it makes sense why they wouldn't, be one-on-oneing Palpatine. That's a pretty good explanation, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. I think that works.
To me.
That checks out. Of course, I don't really count it because it's not part of the official. It's not part of the movies, and you want to get that from the movies. You don't really see the Force ghosts ever in discomfort. They seem pretty chill. So, but it is pretty valid. The sequel trilogy kind of undoes that shit though.
Speculation that since they're eternal beings who can see the past and can kind of see the future, they can't interfere with the actions of the living, but that is so not true. I'd say that causing a lightning strike to burn
Yeah, this is what we call a plot hole.
down an ancient Jedi temple is interfering just a wee bit. Or lifting a ship out of the ocean so the hero can go fly off to the Sith planet. Or
Well, let me look it up. Star Wars, from a certain point of view, was written in right before The Last Jedi came out, so it gets off the hook. So good job, Qui-Gon. Your book adequately explained Force Ghosts until it got ruined by these terrible movies.
encouraging aim his missiles at the very obvious weak point. All of these examples are absolutely altering the course of events. Sometimes
one was just talking to Luke, and they already knew about the weakness. He was just telling Luke to trust his instincts and use the Force. Just like how he taught him by using that training probe. How was this interfering? He's just like, hey, I think you shouldn't be trusting this targeting computer and do what I told you. Okay. Okay.
in very physical ways. So what gives here? What are the Force Ghosts allowed and not allowed to do? Well, here's my theory. I think the answer is tied deeply to what Obi-Wan was trying to tell Luke as he left Dagobah. The #1 lesson in real estate: location, location, location. The Force, canonically, is stronger in some places than others. Even on Dagobah, a planet with so much Force activity that Emperor Palpatine couldn't sense Yoda's presence, Yoda can point to a cave that's stronger in the Force than other areas of the planet.
That place
is
strong.
Deviant left. So he is going to use the argument that Force ghosts can only show up on some planets. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. Let's see here.
The dark side.
This tells us that 1, the Force is location dependent, and 2, the light sides and dark sides don't share the same Force sensitivity. We see.
Nope. Well, sort of. The Force is location dependent. That kind of means that that's not really true. I think it's kind of an oversimplification. It's just saying it's stronger in other places than some. Like, we've never seen a Force dead zone before where you just couldn't use the Force. I'm sure if you introduced one, that would kind of prove your point, but as it's not really fair to say it's location dependent.
See this imbalance play out in the Emperor's throne room in Return of the Jedi. The Emperor and Vader, both strong dark side masters, have little to no trouble using their most powerful Force abilities, from lightning storms to Vader's ability to use the Force to read Luke's mind.
Your thoughts betray you. Your feelings for them are strong.
Meanwhile,
he's not mind. He's just sensing his emotions and making guesses and stuff. Hey, Lupus, you still here?
Yes.
There he
I
is.
think we should wait until Deviant gets back.
No, we should not wait. Deviant eats fast. Don't worry. I see.
Yeah, Disney might take down this video. You just never know.
But it's boring for me to be here by myself.
No, Deviant will come
Can't
back
you just
soon.
can't you just edit all of this out?
No, because I want it to be the same stream.
But
I want it to be the same stream.
While Luke is struggling so much in this interaction, he swings his lightsaber around like this.
You said don't wait for me.
No, but it's really boring to do this by myself.
Come on, man. You got
Even
James.
his one.
So, he's basically saying that the Emperor's throne room is a powerful conduit for the dark side. But Emperor Palpatine could use his lightning wherever and whenever he wanted in the prequels.
Yeah,
He
that's
could
why
use-
it's location dependent.
Yeah. And Luke Skywalker beats Darth Vader. I don't get it.
Use of the Force in this battle when he grabs his lightsaber.
Also, he's in the corner. He's showing a picture of Empire Strikes Back when the footage he's showing is from Return of the Jedi.
Saber from the Emperor's chair was done in anger, as if Luke in this moment had to channel the dark side in order to access the Force at all.
So what's your point here, man? Is Luke Skywalker struggling to use the Force because he's a light side user, or is he channeling the dark side to become stronger? I don't get. Huh?
That's a difficult question because, I mean, it's not like he's having a difficult time using the Force, so he's not being weakened. But I don't think he's necessarily using the dark side of the Force. But
well, film theory did just say that he was using. He took the lightsaber out of anger, and that's why it was fast or something. I don't know. Being incredibly vague here. I don't like that.
yeah, it's not really good for proving points.
Really gonna go even further.
I really don't understand what you're trying to say. He's like, oh, sometimes Force is light, powerful here, and dark, powerful here. I'm not really getting a lot of proof.
Rather than just suggesting that location is everything, and link this to my ongoing dissection of the science of Star Wars, and say that midichlorians are to blame. I know we fans like to ignore midichlorians because they kind of suck, but there's some really good reasoning.
Midichlorians are fine. What do you mean? They're just a way to explain the Force, or not exactly the Force. Just like they're just the Jedi trying to simplify the Force as much as possible. But Yoda, again, in the Clone Wars, which you mentioned, finds out that the midichlorians are a vast oversimplification of the Force, and that it's far more complicated than that. But I guess you only watched like a couple clips because you clearly don't know your shit, MatPat.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the point.
Man, this is what it takes to be a YouTuber these days. Just like very vague evidence. Ignore anything that doesn't support your point, and come to some sort of crazy conclusion.
It's funny.
There's also so I want to predict where he's going with this. Basically, gonna say, yeah, Obi-Wan and Yoda didn't come to the throne room because it's not that powerful of a light side of the Force, and Force Ghost thingies are an inherently light side ability, or he's just going to say that they can't because it's a Force ability. But in either case, they could just use the dark side of the Force while in their Force Ghost state. And why is Force ghosting an inherently dark side ability? I mean, Darth Plagueis was like manipulating midichlorians to prolong his lifetime. Why isn't that a dark side ability but Force ghosting isn't? Seems pretty vague.
Oh yeah.
Behind the Force, midichlorians, and their relationship to Force ghosts. As I concluded in an earlier theory, midichlorians are like super hyped up mitochondria that evolved in the Star Wars galaxy. Midichlorians are, as
the Force.
Qui-Gon put it,
microscopic life form that resides.
Oh jeez.
Without the midichlorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the Force.
Which means that more life leads to more midichlorians, and more midichlorians leads to more Force sensitivity. For beings that are made entirely of the Force, like a Force ghost, this difference would be massive. Qui-Gon says exactly this.
No. They're not made up of, midichlorians, or even they're not even made up of Force. It's just a Force ability that they have retained after death. Although I guess he may have a retort right here.
Exactly this in the Clone Wars.
All energy from the living Force, from all things that have ever lived, feeds into the cosmic Force, binding everything and communicating to us through the midichlorians. Because of this, I can speak to you now.
As such, planets with more life should naturally yield more powerful Force ghosts with more abilities. And conversely, the further you get away from the abundance of life, the weaker those Force ghosts and their abilities are going to be. And
but Force ghosts did show up on Tatooine in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
What?
Almost like he didn't do his research.
He's showing a still from the pod race, I believe. Even if I'm wrong, this is Tatooine. It's a desert planet. Tatooine's a desert planet, and there were Force ghosts on Tatooine.
Yeah.
What?
Like the point.
What?
Again, isn't a very good one. It's like, so you have to rely on a lot of life for Force abilities to be effective. Makes sense, seeing as the Force is something that emanates from living things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that just there's a lack of living things means that the Force, that doesn't mean the Force doesn't work, maybe it's weakened, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Right. And I bet he's gonna use this to justify Octo being, because it's full of life and stuff, but they also say it's full of death and decay. They say it's both equal in the light and the dark, both equal in life and barren death. So how does that work? How come the planet that's only half good is more powerful than Dagobah, which is full good? I'm not really getting this, man. Yeah, you gotta be more specific here. You can't just be like, oh yeah, this planet type of thing, it means Force Ghost. This type planet here, no Force Ghost.
Wouldn't you know it? Exactly what we see play out in...
Nope. In Rise of Skywalker, you got Force Ghosts on deserts. Last Jedi, you got Force Ghosts on land. In Rise of Skywalker, you got Force Ghosts on an island that is both good and bad. In Return of the Jedi, you actually do get a planet, which is actually pretty consistent. You get Force Ghosts on planets with lots of life. In Empire Strikes Back, Obi-Wan shows up on a planet full of ice. And he shows up as a voice in Luke's X-Wing, I think. So it's not really that consistent. I still don't see how this means they couldn't show up on the Emperor's throne room or on Exegol. You've provided no evidence to the contrary. There's nothing here. There's no evidence.
In these movies, planets like Dagobah, a huge swamp, and Ahch-To, Luke's hideaway in the new trilogy, are teeming with life. We're told that...
No. I can't take this anymore. Oh, I'm getting Deviant back on. I can't stand this. I want to be free of this pain. I'm being torn apart. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
I'm getting flashbacks to those meme compilations.
Yeah, those were all the rage during The Force Awakens. Yeah, now everybody hates Star Wars because they ruined it.
These are epicenters of Force activity, and true to form, we see Force ghosts in each of those locations able to be physically present. Ghost Yoda bonks Luke on the head with...
Okay, but they show up on Tatooine and Hoth.
No, but if they address that would ruin their theory.
Oh, almost as if this video is complete garbage and they're only making really fucking terrible assumptions. I mean, even if they couldn't summon lightning bolts in the Emperor's throne room, Luke could at least throw a few punches. Or not the Emperor's throne room, Exegol. Like, they couldn't, it's not like they couldn't do nothing. Because they can't die. So there's no risk of going to Exegol or Emperor's throne room, etc., etc., etc. They could just show up and start beating the crap out of the Emperor. even if they can't do a lot of damage, they could still do some. They could at least distract them.
Nah, that make too much sense.
Luke on the head with his ghost staff. He summons force lightning to burn a tree. Ghost Luke catches a lightsaber and lifts a spaceship. Over on Dagobah, Ghost Obi-Wan is able to knock vines out of his way as he goes to talk to Luke. Now look at the places where the ghosts can't be physically present in this series. When Obi-Wan says that he can't help Luke face Darth Vader in the original trilogy, Vader was on Bespin, a floating metal platform hovering over a gas giant planet. Other than the inhabitants of the...
Gas is life. Is it not? It's like lively. I guess it's not like sentient or like, you know. No creatures or anything, but like, but is it like? Oh yeah, I mean, Bespin is a gas giant, so whatever. Who cares?
In the mining cities, the planet was basically lifeless. Not a whole lot of midichlorians there, and as such, not enough energy for a Force Ghost to physically manifest. In A New Hope, Luke is flying around in his spaceship at the surface of the Death Star. No life there, and as such, Obi-Wan is only able to communicate as a voice. In Rise of Skywalker, the Sith planet Exegol appears to be made almost entirely out of barren rocks. This guy is the Emperor. He has the ability to go anywhere, like his beautiful home planet of Naboo, or Canto Bight, the casino planet, but instead, he tends to hang out in big, empty throne rooms,
because he was hiding from the rest of the galaxy, not because he thought it was a good vacation spot to protect himself from Force Ghosts. If he had begun his operations in Naboo, everybody would catch wind of his plan real fucking quick.
Like, what kind of evil genius is going to go around and be like, hey, everybody, I'm going from planet to planet, and, you know...
See, instead, he secretly delivers his message through the medium of Fortnite, so that way nobody knows about it.
Exactly.
Oh, wait.
Alas, mysterious...
I still can't believe that shit is canon.
Who has the cricket noise in the background?
Enough. Oh, it's crickets.
They're pretty dang loud.
And fireworks. Enough. I've had it with these motherfucking product placements in my motherfucking Star Wars.
Far away from his own guards. He has not taken a chance that one of these Force Ghosts is gonna get a chance to pop out of the blue, teleport in a lightsaber, and stab him. But to me,
Again, they could just, like, throw a few punches at him and, you know, rough him up a little bit. Palpatine can't hit him back. They're Force Ghosts. Can't die. They're immortal.
The most telling appearance is in Hoth. It's easy to forget, but in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke actually sees Obi-Wan as a Force Ghost on Hoth, and it presents us an interesting middle ground of these sorts of appearances. Hoth isn't completely devoid of life, like Exegol or Bespin, but it also isn't teeming with...
It isn't?
Life, like Dagobah or Ahch-To.
It's got Tauntauns and a Wampa. You've got this really annoying echo. It's like really harsh, so I didn't understand what you said. Do you have like some sort of voice modification? I cannot understand you at all.
Let me see if I can fix that.
Okay, thank you.
It's a middle ground with a middle amount of midichlorian.
It's ice and snow.
Midichlorians, and true to form, Obi-Wan's Force Ghost in the...
You still got a really harsh echo.
How about
Oh god, I am sorry, man. I cannot understand you at all. I don't know how your voice sounded perfectly fine earlier, but now it sounds really bad. I cannot understand. Throw it in the chat if you got something to say. Oh my god, those stupid crickets.
This moment is though in a bit of a middle ground. He's more transparent, he's less fully formed. Despite snow blowing in the air and being on the ground, his Force Ghost isn't physically interacting with any of that. It's a lot like a radio signal with weak reception. It's coming through, but not as strongly as if you were in a better area. It's exactly what—
Yeah, that's just because they wanted to make a cool effect. He was probably only doing that because, you know, all I had to do was tell him, hey, go to the Dagobah system. Wasn't exactly like staying there for a chat. And also, the amount of snow and everything probably just obscured our vision. Hello? So I don't think it's like a fuzzy connection because sentience. I think it's just because Force Ghosts are supposed to be transparent. Oh my god. Oh my god. These stupid crickets, they're so aggressive. Ah.
exactly what you would expect to happen if amount of life or amount of midichlorians were the battery fueling these sorts of ghost appearances. And for further proof, compare that Obi-Wan appearance at the top of the movie to the one that happens later in that exact same movie on Dagobah. Here, he's fully fleshed out, meaning—
I think that's pretty much just because, just a narrative decision, you know? Make it seem all cool and mysterious in the first act, and then, make him fully fledged in the second act, just so you can have more visual clarity. This is really loose. Besides, why would Hoth be acting as, like, a partial conduit, but then Dagobah's, like, he's, like, 100% there? I don't get that. Because Hoth's, like, it's a barren wasteland with a few creatures here and there. And then Dagobah is, like, the most lively place in the entire galaxy. Why is there such a small difference? I don't understand.
that this wasn't just like a technical limitation or creative choice for this one film. So the Force Ghosts and their powers in this new trilogy aren't so much a plot hole as it is just a very poorly explained mechanic that you really need to read between the lines in order to make sense of. Oh, and that you also have to selectively choose your evidence, I suppose, because there is one plot hole that even I can't explain. Why didn't Yoda and Obi-Wan do something to Vader while he was on Endor? We know for a fact that Endor is teeming with enough life to support—
You think that's the only place they didn't fight Vader on? I mean, at least he admits that he has to. Oh my god, those fucking crickets! I'm losing my mind. Oh my god. Oh, Diego. That's my good friend. Get Deviant back on right now. I'm starting to lose my mind.
supports Force ghosts. Heck, we see 3 of them hanging out at the Ewok celebration that closes out Return of the Jedi. You mean to tell me that neither Yoda nor Obi-Wan felt like helping Luke out? I mean, Yoda had just become a ghost, so maybe he was just getting used to things, but Obi-Wan really is the worst. Maybe that's my real theory today. Force ghosts can't solve everything, but they could have at least done something on Endor. Slackers. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. This is the subscribe button you're looking for. This is the subscribe button you're looking for. You will press the subscribe button. You will ring the bell for future notifications. You will help.
In conclusion, Deviant has left us. And also God has left us because this video was pretty bad. There was a lot of conflicting evidence that he failed to address. There were a lot of things that he just swiped aside as lore, when they were lore contradictions. I think that he may have brought up 1 or 2 good points, but overall it was pretty garbage. I think.
Wait, Airborne, you gotta see this.
Most he did was just, yeah. What do I gotta see?
What the heck? Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Hold on.
Huh?
It's not loading. What the heck? Give me a minute. It's not loading. What on earth? It says,
what is it?
I'm trying to load it up, but it's not doing anything.
Okay.
Help us achieve the.
Hold on.
You still have a terrible echo. I'm sorry, man. I think the terminal illness.
Look, even Watch Together is like malfunctioning.
Ah, whatever.
No, you gotta see it. You gotta see it.
Deviant abandoned me. He's a terrible person. Oh, you got it working?
Did you see it?
Oh my god, I'm not watching it again. Go away.
No, you.
I'm leaving. Thank you. Goodbye.